First, I would like to welcome our distinguished panelists and audience. Thank you for coming here today. We appreciate it very much. My name is Horesh, and I'm the CEO of the International Nadlan Community of the Israeli Building Center, and I will be the mediator today of this panel. It's a great honor for me. Before we're going to start, I would like to tell you a little bit about the International Nadlan Community. During our 2015 Nadlan City Conference in Eilat, we were honored enough to host Mr. Larry Silverstein of Silverstein Properties as our keynote speaker. During the conference, Mr. Silverstein raised the idea of establishing a real estate community that will connect real estate professionals from all over the world with their counterparts in Israel. Guided by Mr. Silverstein's vision, we established the International Nadlan Community, a first of its kind real estate professional community that bridges Israelis, Jews, and the support of Israel all around the globe. Over the last 2.5 years, and with very hard work and 2 very successful conferences in New York, the International Nadlan Community, through the participation of hundreds of Israelis, youth Jews, and support of Israel from all around the globe. I can proudly state that the International Nadlan Community is embraced with enthusiasm, literally across the board, by a variety of industry leaders, top-level executives, and government officials both in Israel and the United States. And Mr. Berko here is our president of the International Nadlan Community in the US. So, how do I... No, it's okay. Now, with all that being said, I would like to begin with some general questions to our panelists. Again, thank you very much for coming here. And I would like each one of you to present himself quickly in 60 seconds about himself, where he comes from, what he's doing here, and we're going to start with Berko, please.
Thank you, Avi. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the last night party survivors. Thank you for coming. Joe Berko, Yossi Berko, Israeli that lives in the United States for the past 23 years. About 12 years ago, I started Berko and Associates. One of my partners here, Michael Corinne from New York as well. Berko is a real estate advisor that works with public companies and private entities focused on investment sales and structured finance. We're a team of right now about 40 professionals, and we do about $3 billion in the course of the last 12 years, helping our clients with locating, managing, financing, and acquiring assets such as hotels, office buildings, apartment buildings, development sites, and so on. And happy to be here.
Good morning. My name is Michael Dinowitz. I am a partner at the law firm of Eleanor Grossman & Scholl in Manhattan. I'm a native New Yorker, and I've been practicing law in Manhattan for about 30 years. Eleanor Grossman & Scholl is a full-service commercial law firm with real estate, corporate securities, litigation, and the whole gamut of business services. I'm a partner in the real estate group, where I focus on real estate, joint ventures, and development. We also have a very large retail leasing practice, financing, sales, acquisitions. But my particular specialty over the last 25 or 30 years has been money raising in real estate transactions and really taking a project from start to finish in really every aspect of the deal.
Hi, good morning, Adi. My name is Amos Shoshan, President of ATS Investments, located in Miami, Florida. We are a real estate company, not a brokerage company. We do some developments, income producing properties, specializing in income producing of logistical warehouses, office buildings, medical centers, and shopping centers, neighborhood shopping centers. We raise capital in Israel, bringing it to the United States, making income-producing returns, and some developments of those kind of assets. Our office is located in Miami. We have about 20 people working for us, and that's what we do.
Hello everyone, I'm Burak Kutlug. I'm the Chief Business Development Officer of Auto. I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. We are the largest real estate developer in Turkey. We developed more than 35,000 residential and commercial units in the last 35 years. We have almost 10,000 workers, 400 architects under the umbrella. So we are the largest. We are exploring the Israeli market. And in this respect, we are here. I will tell you more about our projects in the upcoming questions.
Good morning. My name is Yaniv Toledano. I'm the founder of Novo Boutique Living. Been living in New York for the past 12 years. What we do with Novo is we're trying to create a new concept of living called boutique living, which is the new generation of fully serviced, tastefully furnished, affordable and socially driven buildings. Essentially what we do, we take a building, we design it, we furnish it, we do all the marketing and the booking and the experience side. It mainly catered towards the business travel community, either on the corporate side or actually on the actual corporate traveler side. We work directly with the owners of the building, essentially doubling the rental. So this is pretty much what we do. We're connecting the owner of the building directly with the business travel demand.
Very nice. Now, I have a question. The audience who are sitting here are all players in the Israeli market, and it's very important to us to know how is Israel is perceived in the world as a real estate factor and economic factor. And Berko, what do you think about answering this question?
Pleasure. You know, as an Israeli, first of all, I've got to say I'm very proud of the way Israel has penetrated the market. There's money chasing New York, pretty much from all over the world. You got money coming from China, you got money coming from Europe, the Middle East, South America. I always say the worse it is out there, the better it is for us in New York. You know, we have the Israeli bonds, which are now becoming more of a large provider of capital for large players, and you know, we're very active in that space. We see institutional players coming into New York to team up with local developers, and so that's also a very deep pool of money that's very essential to this market. The private side of the Israelis playing in New York, groups like Stonehenge, groups like Gaia. I see Amir over here. Good morning. You know, came in pretty much, you know, trailblazing through the recession, where most New Yorkers looked at the situation and called it the Foley knife syndrome. You know, if I'm buying now, his price is going to go down. A lot of the Israelis who came in with the mentality of I can make it here have made pretty tremendous impact. Building, acquiring land when it was kind of cheap, building structures, and so on. If you look at companies like Silverstein Properties, the owners of the World Trade Center, the head of that company is Tal Carrot, so there's another Israeli, so we're pretty much infiltrated, and I think very highly regarded in that space.
Well, I couldn't agree more with Joe's assessment of how Israelis are perceived in New York in terms of the Israeli money coming into New York, and also internationally with respect to your reputation with startups and being smart, aggressive business people and really doing miraculous things here in Israel and internationally. But there's a slight, actually it's not slight, there's a large bifurcation with respect to that aspect of Israeli business people and money coming back into Israel, which is, there is still a big hesitation for you, at least in my experience, for U.S. real estate folks to put money back here because of the perception that it's very difficult to do business here, that, you know, there is more than, less order than we see in an American real estate deal. And so I would like to try and, you know, change that perception. That's part of my connection to the Israeli Business Center, you know, to start moving capital back and forth from the U.S. to here. And obviously it's already flowing into the U.S. from here. So, you know, that's really why I got passionate about flying to Israel. I was here last year as well. And, you know, working with Adi and Iran and trying to build that bridge.
For us, it's very easy. We raise capital here. That's our connection. There's a lot of money here chasing properties and returns, and we provide that service to clients here, partners. We think about our clients as family, and we bring the money from here, placing it in assets in all over the country. And that's how we chase that's our connection. Very difficult to invest money here if you're not living here, if you don't play, if you don't know the actual mentality to do business here. It's very difficult to invest. And quite frankly, the returns that the Israeli market provide right now is not competitive with the returns we can do in the United States. And that's why it's one way direction for us.
By the way, Amos, you mentioned that you're raising money here in Israel. You're raising debt or equity? What kind of vehicle are you using?
Only equity.
Only equity.
Only equity.
Got it. Okay, now I would like to go into specifics and to actually to get to know you better in terms of the activities that you're making and you're doing. And I would like to start with here and to tell us about an amazing project in Turkey. I was lucky enough to visit Burak and Ali and the friends from Turkey 2 months ago and to see their project. It's really, really amazing. And Burak, please tell us, what is your business activities? Movies? Tell me.
Let me briefly describe what we are doing. We are also one of the largest conglomerates in Turkey. We are the admiral boat, is real estate. We are in energy, cement business and tourism. We developed more than 7 million square meters of construction up until now. In our developments, there are 121 different passports living. We call ourselves United Nations of our, so it is a very diversified portfolio. And in our CRM, we have 800,000 customers. But what we achieved so far with our latest development, the project that you see, which is Maslak 1453, it is the largest mixed-use monoblock development in Turkish and European history. It's 2.2 million square meters, 5,000 units. We are talking about 4 squares, 24 towers, 1,453 meters. It's an architectural thing that our head of coordinator designed. So we are talking about city, not a real estate development anymore, with its captive footfall of 100,000 people daily. And we sold everything in 3 years' time. The first complete for this 2.2 million square meter was in 2013, and we had it over 100% by 2016. How come? So at the peak point, we reached to 15,000 workers at the same construction site. So how it's financed in Turkey? You are selling upfront when you get the license, and we are developers from A to Z. So we are
like a pre-sales.
Yes, we made pre-sales. It's the main funding of the project, and it's thanks to our, because it's not only construction, it is real estate development. It starts from the land development to the sales and facility management. But words are enough. Maybe seeing is believing. If we can show a short video.
Brooke, I have to ask you, before the movie is going to be ready, we are here in Israel and in the US, we used to a certain kind of economy when we have very low interest rate and very low inflation rate. As I learned from the visit we had, in Turkey it's the total opposite. The two factor elements of the economy, interest rate and inflation rates, in Turkey are in the double digits.
Yes.
And please explain to me how, from the developer side, how you manage to work with 15-17% interest rate on loans, and with the same, even expensive one on the mortgage side. So please explain to me from the developer side and from the end user side, who buy your apartments, how this economy works.
I mean, it's a very simple economic metric. I mean, we have a huge demand. We have 600,000 marriages and 140,000 divorces every year. And in the past, in a house, there were 5 people. Now it went down to 3.5. And like in the West, we have a convergence to West, so it's going below 3. And I said we are the largest real estate developer in Turkey. We develop only 35,000 residentials. In Istanbul only there are 17 million people. So the mortgage in Turkey, mortgage to GDP, is 4.5%, which is nothing compared to any Western country where it reaches to 100%. So mortgage is not a market that's tapped yet in Turkey. But on the other hand, we have this inflation and interest rate. We are right, it goes sometimes up to 14-15%. But the increase in asset price, it's above 20%. Why? First, because there is lack of land. I think it's very similar to Tel Aviv as well. And there's a scarcity value of what you develop. And also, for the developers like us, when you put the concept, it's no more just a residential or just a living place, but it's a concept because there is a traffic and it's a life in a big city. When you develop those kind of things, there are always buyers. Also by 2013, the government of the Turkish Republic, they decided to let the foreigners to buy property in Istanbul as well. And thanks to Turkish Airlines and Istanbul becoming a hub, now we have international investors as well. And when you have the demand and supply is limited, it's going up and it's always profitable in real estate.
Really similar to Israel. We also
Forget what you know. City life is being reinvented at Maslak 1453. Standards are being redefined here. Life has begun at Maslak 1453, Europe's largest mixed-use project with 2.2 million square meters of construction area and the new attraction center of Istanbul. Now it's time to start a new era for Istanbul city life. The business life, art, gastronomy, and social center of Istanbul. Everything is like never before at Maslak 1453. Maslak 1453 is closely located to hospitals, hotels, universities, and the headquarters of national and international companies in Istanbul's central business district. Population living in luxury residences, 15,000. Projected working population of office units, 8,000 people. Approximately 68,000 students studying at Nişantaşı University, Turkey's most modern and technologically advanced university campus. And when we add the population within 2 kilometers radius to all these numbers, it easily reaches 100,000 potential daily visitors. And here is Yaniv 1453. It's designed with the inspiration of world-class examples, such as Manhattan of New York and Mainstrasse of Frankfurt. There is its concept and architecture that blend colors of nature, and there is its design that suits vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Yaniv 1453 has a well-planned centralized administration. With a structure that adapts to dynamics of both day and night life, it meets all the requirements of modern city life. With its stores located at the organized retail street and specially designed squares, food and beverage places, and social sports event venues, it's a modern city where business and daily life come together. A total of 240 stores are placed on 3 squares located at 1,453 meter-long Yaniv 1453. Stores are rented to well-known premium brands. Total leasable retail space is 120,000 square meters. Along with a shopping mall, movie theaters, event venues, retail stores, restaurants, an amphitheater, a theater, and a kids' entertainment center, Jadeh 1453 includes My Club, Europe's largest sports and life complex. There are also apartment hotels of Ascot Somerset and Dusit Thani Group on Jadeh 1453. Maslach 1453 is becoming the center of shopping, gastronomy, and entertainment. The real and the only project to include leading brands and services. Aolu Maslach 1453. There is no other, just like you. Forget what you know. City life is being reinvented at Maslach 1453. Standards are being...
And I want to add, there was only one, and he says himself, our chairman, Mr. Ali Aoud, he was the only one who could dare for such a big project because it's like a puzzle, this project. It's not only the size, and in all aspects, from sales to construction. And in 3 years' time, we completed this project.
No, this is really amazing.
It's visible.
Ali, good job. It's really amazing. Now, Amos, I would like to ask you a question. What do you think now is the best investment in the US? In terms of multi-families, retail of offices. Now, as Israel is everybody looking, okay, what can I do in the US? What can I invest in? Now the government in Israel, killing the citizen here in terms of investment-wise. What do you think is the best advice now to do with the current economy?
It's like you have to ask yourself what you like, but we don't like residential because we think it's too much labor intensive. I know that the Israeli market, especially in Hebrew we say Mosdim or the institutional investors, they like residential. It's easy to understand, it's easy to digest. But we don't like residential because there's not much upside, and our business as a company, as our profile, is that we provide income producing, what we call a return on investment between 8 to 10% on a yearly basis. And then on the upside, we provide around 25 to 30% with a 10% return on a yearly basis. So in residential, there's not much room to increase the value of the asset. So what we like right now to see is neighborhood shopping center, not malls. Medical centers for people who has appetite only for return without big upside, because medical centers do not provide big upside. And right now what we focus on is logistical warehouses, just because of Amazon and the internet, and it takes away from actual inventory in the stores, and a lot moves to logistical warehouses. So we're locating warehouses, or at least warehouses that have 50 to 60% occupancy in major roads like Highway 10 or Highway 95, major roads for even Amazon logistical warehouses, or at least feeder from them. And that's what we see in the horizon as far as the future. But residential is not for us, and neighborhood shopping centers that do not have any influence from Amazon, call it Amazon influence, barber shops, nail salons, supermarkets, things like that.
All the necessities, the necessities.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think real estate investing is like choosing a spouse. It's a matter of taste. So in the United States, if you're investing in gateway cities, I think there's still ample opportunity in every property class: retail, office, residential, mixed use, industrial. So really the gateway cities, New York, Miami, Atlanta, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, there's still, although it's expensive to buy, there's still a lot of opportunity and good returns.
Michael, before the panel we discussed, you told me about the deal that you're working on, a very big deal. Please take me through the deal, tell me a little bit about it, about the history, how, tell me about it.
Okay, great. hoping you would ask that question.
I know.
So, Amir says, God willing, in December, a deal that I started in 2008, which was a 770-unit hotel on 9th Avenue between 41st and 42nd in Manhattan, will be getting a temporary C of O and start to rent out rooms. It's a huge assemblage that was done right before the crash of 2008. They started buying the properties, and I was the lead attorney on the deal through acquiring the properties, obtaining the construction financing. There was an EB-5 mezzanine loan. EB-5 is a program in the United States whereby there is inexpensive financing provided so long as the project produces jobs, and the government allows, in return for the investment, visas and who's after visa? Passports, green cards, to be given out basically to wealthy non-U.S. folks. So that was a very interesting aspect of it. It was a massively complex structuring and joint venture involving 3 equity partners, including Richard Bourne of BD Hotels, who's the largest private hotel operator in New York City. It culminated with the bankruptcy of one of the contractors, the largest contractor on the project. So this deal was really a continuing legal education project for me, and I'm very proud of it, and proud to have that in my portfolio. And hopefully, when you come to Manhattan, you can go over there and take a look at it.
Thank you, Michael. Mr. Toledano, how are you doing this morning? Amazing. Very good. So let's talk about some boutique living.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the current US economy, when there is the growth of Airbnb, WeWork, and HomeAway and such, how do you see the future of living? And how do you think the real estate developers today need to adapt in order to stay relevant in this changing environment?
First of all, there's no doubt that there's a need for like a different way of living. I think in many ways, all the companies you mentioned, like Airbnb, like WeWork, like HomeAway, like all of those, made a change in a way we perceive working and living and real estate in general. Okay, I think there's a new era of consumers that most of the, I would say, like the old generation real estate developers just don't cater to. Okay, mainly because the needs have changed. One of the things that we see, especially with our clients and even with the companies, so we're in the business of serving employees of companies. So every employee wants to do a relocation or whatsoever. Usually, like the companies are taking care of the whole side of the relocation. However, in recent years, all the millennial generation, they just don't want to relocate. And one of the reasons is because there is no actual solution that solves the loneliness of business travel. One of the biggest things about the economy today is obviously the loneliness. Although there is many like technology and so-called communities and connectivity, there is a study of Harvard speaking about like the dark side of business travel, the impact, psychology, like the physical and the emotional impact of being alone all the time. And I'm sure everybody here and everybody in the room have traveled for business, once or twice in their life, and they were lonely, eating dinner alone and so on. I think like the way to solve it, okay, is actually, besides creating a community for business travel and connectivity and so on, it's actually from the way you build the properties, from the separation between the square footage for the living and the common areas. And even if you have the common areas and you have the gym and you have the lounge and you have all of that, how do you make it work? How do you make it actually create a situation for people to actually come together, to be in the same place at the same time, and actually to get some kind of a connectivity between the people when they're living in the place.
But Yaniv, how do you make money out of it?
Oh, it's very simple.
Ah, so tell me about it.
Yeah, the pay. Millennial has money. Everybody think millennials don't have money and so on, and it's the next generation of the baby boomers that haven't had a dollar in their ass, but they do. They all, and if you think about it, like I believe by 2020 or 2021, 50% of the buying power in America will be millennials, people who were born after 1984. That's like the definition for millennial. It's not. I don't think there is a lot. I think there's one here. But that's exactly the problem, because the people who's building the real estate are not the people who live in the real estate. And if they don't understand who's their client and what they want, so they're just going to continue to build whatever they know, and whatever they know doesn't fit the new need. And that's what we're trying to change.
Okay, very nice. You have a very cool movie. So I would like to show exactly how do we do the boutique living.
That's exactly the point.
But this is real?
It's 100% real. It's all our members actually.
Okay,
it's
so
so the whole idea is that we're a group of artists and musicians and creative thinkers. And then in the end, the whole idea is to solve the loneliness of business travel. So if you have people that come into New York for a month or 2 months or 3 months for a work assignment, the biggest question is fine. One, you provide them a furnished apartment and a living solution, a temporary living solution. That's number one. Second thing is like, what do you do with the social side? How do you make it work that they're having fun?
So you make a party. So you make a party.
Yeah, but not only. It's just to create like a situation between like in every building we have like a calendar of events that people are coming, and there is yoga and there is wellness and there is a gym and there is a co-working inside the building and there is a music room and we have guitars and record player in every apartment, and we provide like a vinyl library. We give them like records, we can have music, it's anything that can enhance creativity while you're living. That's the whole idea. And it proved to be a huge success as far as like the actual people who stay in the apartment. It's working, it's beautiful. It can be the millennial, it can be the VP of Goldman Sachs, it can be the engineers of Google, it can be like people from Facebook, people from Viacom, HBO, Netflix. We have like people from every possible company, any Fortune 500 company staying with us in our apartments. So it can be that, it can be also the freelancers, because 50% of the workforce in the US within 2 years going to be all freelancers. It's all like the freelance nation right now. Nobody works for anybody anymore.
Yaniv, I have to tell you, it's really refreshing. No, really.
Yeah, it's different. It's good.
It's good, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back to Mr. Berko. Mr. Berko, in the retail industry in the US is going through rough, radical changes. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I think U.S. retail is absolutely going through a crisis. It's, we're seeing about 6,700 stores closing in 2017. And just to understand the impact, if you look at the depth of the recession, 2008, 6,200 stores are closed. So we're seeing malls going out of fashion and going out of business. We're seeing the Macy's of the world closing hundreds of stores. We're seeing Toys R Us burdened by $6.6 billion of corporate debt, filing for bankruptcies, and it's pretty much across the board. So there's three really main areas that are causing that. And the first one is, I think, the aggressive acquisitions of private equities that have been buying retail chains soon after the recession was over and burdening them with unbelievable amounts of debt. And with small tweaks in the economy, now those chains can barely sustain themselves and barely carry the debt that they have. So many of them are actually filing for bankruptcies and disappearing or rechanging or closing stores. I think the second disruptor is the millennial, like you said, it's a new consumer, it's a new industry. Age group between 16 and 36 no longer wants to buy these jeans going to bikinis, right? They want to go to Amazon, they want to 2 clicks in 24 hours. My new jeans is packed nicely, it's in my front door. So,
Someone close the door back there, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's definitely a new consumer behavior, and I think this Black Friday, which really distinguished how the retail industry is doing seasonally, have been quite a shocker. The number came back, 59% of all purchases were done online. So the stores are closing, the retail centers are now feeling the heat. And the guys that are coming in, Amos of the world knows this very well. He's not going to invest in the next shopping center. He's going to go after the stuff that you can buy online. The millennials are looking for experiences. They want to go to the gym. It's not something you can get over the internet. They want to see a movie. They want to take their girlfriends and friends to the local bars, and that's what's going to sustain themselves. So I think, there's big shifts in the industry. Millennials are one part of that equation, not all of it. There's going to be new opportunities. So, as malls are shifting and closing and changing, there's going to be great times to buy assets like that at very deep discounts. And those who are going to succeed are going to be the ones that are going to be able to finish or fill up those empty spaces and empty boxes with experiential type of shopping. So it's less consumer product and shelf product, and it's more experiential.
Very good. We're running out of time, so I want to show you the movie about our last conference in New York. So we ran out of time, so I would like Joe, as our president in the US of the International Black Community, please conclude this panel and to thank you all for taking part of it. Again, it was very interesting. Thank you all for coming out here. And here you go.
Thanks, Adi. So about 3 years ago, Ron and I sat down and over a glass of wine we started discussing the need for the Israeli real estate community to start expanding out and really starting to try to create bridges and connect this community with the rest of the world. If you look at the Jewish community in particular, you know, throughout Europe, certainly throughout the United States, big cities, and there's a very large need for you know, individuals to connect, to get together, to collaborate, and building a network like that is something that was very important to Iran Rolls. We've teamed up and we've done 2 conferences over the past 2 years in New York, very well attended, very, very well embraced by the local Jewish community. We've had about 180 people that came from Israel to New York to participate in this conference. The conference was held by about 400 individuals, and it was, I have to say, it was quite a hit. You know, we had, I think, 8 different panels, some of the largest players in the city of New York and also elsewhere from the United States. People flew in to take part in this. It's quite a phenomenon. We're hoping to grow this. We're hoping for this to be something that is annually sustainable. We want it to be something like Eilat. It will probably take some time because, you know, the electricity in the area here is you know, something that you have to work on for a long time, but the need is absolutely there. So building bridges between the Israeli real estate community and the rest of the world, starting from New York and elsewhere in the United States, is something that we're both very passionate about. And I certainly hope to see many of you coming to our next International Naglan Conference. I can tell you it's a lot of fun, but more than that, it's a lot of good business and it makes a lot of good sense.
Okay, so thank you very much. We're going to conclude this panel. And again, I would like to thank you all for coming here. I really appreciate it. And thank you all. And we're done.